Episode 4 of House of the Dragon is boring. There's no simpler way to put it. It feels uninteresting where nothing happens. It's a filler episode and it's mid. And perhaps once episode 5 or episode 6 comes back, and I can look back on episode 4 in hindsight and say, you know what, this episode was necessary to build up future conflict, that's fine. But as I'm watching this in real time, there's no other feeling that comes over me than one of unexcitement. And I think what's most anticlimactic about this episode is that you expect there to be some sort of fighting. Mainly, I feel like the biggest plot point of this episode was with the High Towers controlling Tumbleton. And it feels like not much goes on. It's kind of like a character study of Ormond Hightower. And yeah, we get that he's like not the nicest guy who prides himself on being a scholar, but really behind the scenes is cruel. That's fine, but I was really expecting Rhaenyra's troops to kind of march into the town and start some fighting. I mean, where was that? So I guess maybe they're saving it for episode 4. But yeah, nothing was really going on in that town of Tumbleton, even though we spent like half the episode there. So that added to the boredom. I was really, really disappointed with Laris and Aegon. I thought there was going to be like some funny jokes or laughter. Instead, it's just exactly what you'd expect, where they have to pretend to be peasants, so they join up with a band of peasants. And Aegon, I mean, I get that he's, fallen from his ways and he's no longer king, but did he take common sense with him? If he essentially curses out a guy who prides himself on being the leader of this ragtag group of rebels or ragtag group of peasants, what does he expect to happen? Of course, he's not going to be treated kingly. So his shock and begging him to say, no, no, please don't make me pay for my consequences. What do you expect is going to happen? So I was actually really annoyed with Aegon. I thought something interesting was going to happen with Laris and Aegon, some sort of scheming. So I guess we're gonna have to wait into the future because there's no way that they're gonna allow the king of Westeros to be reduced to a peasant for the rest of the series. I just can't see that happening. So that was a disappointment. I think I really got my hopes high up for Laris and Aegon, and this episode did not deliver. King's Landing, like Rhaenyra, the politicking, it's getting stale. Like the small council meetings, I mean, very small council meetings, only like 3 people attend, and they're not even that interesting. It's just pretty boring. And it feels like exactly what happened last episode, where no progress is made. Um, and then also with the sea snake, he essentially leaves, so we don't even get to see like him really lashing out on Rhaenyra, except to I guess go into exile, self-imposed exile. So I guess we'll see where that leads him. But season 4 or episode 4, excuse me, I had some high expectations of what happened in episode 3, and I thought that they'd be delivered, and I thought we'd see the natural results of them occur in episode 4, but we don't. So I think that's what made it most disappointing. The one caveat I will say that was interesting in this episode was certainly Damon finding out that it was Rhaena who was riding on Sheepstealer, and she was the one who accidentally led to the demise of Jace. That was interesting, and the way Damon also handled it was very cruel in an entertaining fashion. It really fit his character, where he essentially kills a random peasant and pretends to Rhaenyra that this is the person who rode sheep stealer, allowing Rhaena to essentially go undiscovered. And I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to come back to bite him, or that Rhaenyra is eventually going to discover the true culprit behind the murder of her son. So it'll be interesting when that happens. But like I said, at best, this episode can feel like it's setting us up for something greater. Um, and I really hope this is the worst episode of season 3. If it is, then season 3 is excellent, because it's not like season 3, episode 4 is the worst thing I ever watched. I was able to get through it all, like no problem. I think it really helps having 3 great episodes following before it as the predecessor. But still, season 3, episode 4, it's boring, but it's fine. And if this is the worst episode of the season, I can handle it easily. I think a big part of it is just that we still have to wait for Aemon to recover, and I guess we have to wait for Sir Tristan Cole's troops to reemerge and kind of get back in their strength, and they have to march down and kind of meet up with the other guards of the High Tower so they can unite their forces. I get that. So again, at best, it's kind of like a world building episode, and we'll see what conspires and occurs in the next episode. My hopes are higher, and sorry to say, but season 3, episode 4 was not the best. I'd love to hear what your comments are. I'd love to know what you thought. Maybe you disagree, maybe you agree. And please make sure to leave a like and please subscribe.